Hello! Welcome back to Elise Reads and Speaks. So it is beautiful outside today, so I figured, hey, why not set up camp out here? And I am a little behind with my March wrap-up because I just have a lot of work to do and I'm drowning in work and it's still not done. And I was like, I just need a break. Let me just take a video. Okay, so to begin with my March wrap-up, I did not do as well as January or February, which is kind of a bummer. I had 10 books in January, 10 books in February, and March was 6. Alright, but still, you know what? I'll pick it up next month. It's fine. So let me get started with the first book that I read for the month, which is pretty much the reason why I'm at 6, because it was taking me forever to get through. So, prepare yourself for what I'm about to tell you. I DNF'd a book. I know, right? Like, I never DNF books, and I'm sure I've said that like a billion times on this channel. I don't DNF books. But man, I got 8 hours through this audiobook, and I saw I had another 10 left, and I was like, I can't do this. I am not enjoying this book that much that I just can't do this. And that book is Furyborn by Clare Legrand. Oh, so boring. All right, let me tell you something. When I first start reading a book, there's a lot of times that I don't even read the blurb. If it's got a lot of buzz about it, or if I've heard of it, or if I just think that it has a cool cover, I just plunge right in. You know, sometimes I don't like to read the inside cover because I don't want it to tell me what's going to happen. So I did that with Furyborn, and I had no clue that 2 timelines were going together. Like, I had no idea. I was listening to 2 stories that were apparently like 1,000 years apart. How did I miss that? I don't know. Perhaps it was the bad writing. Perhaps it was the boring narrator. Perhaps it was the way that it just dragged on. I mean, take your pick. I don't know, but it was not for me. Whew. The only reason I found out that the 2 timelines were separate was because I went on to Goodreads to look at some of the reviews, like, okay, are people liking this? Am I going to start liking it sometime soon? And when I saw people saying stuff about the timelines, I was like, wait, what? So then when I was listening, I tried to listen a little closer. I was like, oh, so they're not like in 2 different places. These are 2 different times. I had no clue, okay? To me, that is bad writing. That is bad narrating. They had 2 girls that were narrated by the same person because it's told from third-person perspective. So, I mean, you can do that, but she didn't give different voices to either of them, so I think that's how I easily got lost. Okay, whatever. The point is that I got 8 hours through, couldn't do it anymore, so I DNF'd a book. I had people clap for me at book club. Thank you. Thank you for your applause. But I still feel really guilty about it because I just don't finish, like, I don't not finish things. Oh, it's going to grate at me for a little bit. I have to be okay with it. Okay, moving on. The next book that I listened to was, oh man, it was such a step up. It was Obsidio, which is the last installment in the Illuminae files. I told you guys a while back that I was going to wait a little bit till I listened to Obsidio again because I did enjoy the second one, but I just didn't enjoy it as much as the first because it was missing Ezra Mason. And guess who came back to the third book? Whoop, whoop, Ezra Mason. Okay, that was really good. And it wrapped up the story in a really exciting way. And it was so much better than what I had just been listening to that I was like, this is just 5 stars because you've redeemed my faith in audiobooks. It was good. It was a good listen. Same production value as the first 2 is awesome. The next one that I listened to after that was The Bells by Dhonielle Clayton. This was a reread for me. Loved it just as much the second time through. I perhaps even loved it even more. It's very easy to see that happening in our society today. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that on a previous video about the books that I would like to see become movies, and I said The Bells and Dhonielle Clayton, and I gave little pictures of the Kardashian sister because it's very easy to see how people could want that for themselves. So I will link that video below if you haven't taken a peek at that. The next book that I read, the physical book, this was lent to me by my friend Tatiana, was the Kiss Quotient. The Kiss Quotient got really good buzz. It is not a YA book. I don't think it is, because it really should be adult. I think it's adult. It better be adult. Okay, because the premise of the story is that this girl who has autism decides that she's not good at sex and she wants to learn how to be good at sex, so she hires an escort. Okay, yeah, that's got to be adult. I think it's adult. Now, the premise of the story, like, it's smut. Okay, you expect it to be smut, and it is. It's smutty, smut. Okay, we're having sex a lot in this book, which is to be expected based on the plot of it. I'm not so into smut. Like, I look a little bit sprinkled here and there, you know, Sarah J. Maas, that kind. That's fine for me. This was a lot. Like, they were in it from the beginning all the way through. That aside, I gave this one 3 stars because, you know, although I'm not heavy into that, I really did like the aspect of autism. Again, I'm an SLP. I work with a lot of kids with autism, and I think this put people with autism in a positive light. Like, it didn't just define them by a disorder. You know, you saw that she was a real person going through these things and trying to make positive changes about herself, like knowing what her limitations are and trying to overcome them. And if she couldn't overcome them, what's a way that she could compensate for it? I thought that was really interesting, and it's really realistic. Like, I work with people and trying to figure out what is a good compensatory strategy for them for things that they can't handle or can't do. I mean, it's very realistic. And seeing this girl who's completely successful, she's aware of her autism, and she wants to figure out how these places in her life that may be lacking, what she can do to make them better. I think that's great. And then there's smut. There really was a lot of smut. So I gave it 3 stars because it wasn't one that was just like mind-blowing for me, but I really did like the positive spin on autism. I really did like that. The next audiobook that I moved into, I gave a full video review on. That was The Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. I'll link that video below. If you have read that book or listened to it, you can check out my review. If you haven't, don't look at my review. There's a lot of spoilers in it. Bottom line is that I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as The Mortal Instruments or The Infernal Devices because I wasn't as heavy into Emma and Julian as I was into Jason Clary and the trio of Tessa, Will, and Jem. Now, the last one that I listened to was Two Can Keep a Secret. Now, that one took me by surprise because, like, half of the way through, I was like, all right, you know, this is fun. It's a little murder mystery. That's cool. And then it really picked up the pace. And by the time I got to the end, I was really into it. Like, when I first started reading adult books, not even young adult, but when I was a kid in high school, I, like, picked this book up at the bus stop that somebody just left hanging out on the bench, and it was great. It was Weep No More, My Lady by Mary Higgins Clark, and that got me into mysteries. And when I read mysteries and YA, they don't have the same punch for me. I feel like I don't read as many YA mysteries because they're just missing a little something. But this author, I mean, I feel like she's doing it for me. Like, she's crafting a good story. I don't know what's going to happen immediately as soon as the story begins. Like, she keeps me guessing for a bit. And she has some interesting characters with interesting backgrounds. So I would recommend that you give McManus a try. I think she's doing some pretty good work. Now, let's see what is on my plate for next month. I know that I have to read Dodger by Terry Pratchett for book club. Right now I am re-listening to The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I read the physical book last year and I just wanted to refresh my memory before going into The Wicked King. I finally finished Heart of Thorns, but I didn't finish that until April, so that will be my April wrap-up. And what else is on my plate? I'm trying still to go alphabetically through my bookshelf. I think The 9 Lives of Chloe King is next in my alphabetical order. So hopefully I get to that this month, babe, but you never know. All right, well, thank you for tuning in to Elise Reads and Speaks. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful day, the same as me. I will catch you next time. Bye!